Hey guys, it's Beth Murphy here, and I'm thinking about us. So I'm going to do a couple of videos coming up that go together, but people will probably find them separately, so it won't be a 1, 2, 3. Now, obviously, this is me, and probably you, and I want to talk about, I started investigating depression because I have INFJ friends. I'm lucky enough to have some. And I hear common themes. And as I say, I'm an expert on myself. That's all I ever claim. And I just find that we have many things that are similar as an INFJ. So they're worthy of talking about. And depression is one of them. So I'll continue to talk about that because as feeling types, I think it's kind of inevitable because the depth and the complexity of the way our mind operates, we're just taking so much in. So of course we're going to take in more of the sad stuff in the world. Now, I have had an on again, off again for my whole life. I've had an INFP friend. Now I would consider her more than an acquaintance. She's in my tight sphere of, people, my circle. And I see that as a soul thing too. I believe that I can tell the difference. And how I can tell the difference is I'm less reluctant to ever let them go. I've had people, walk in and out, and you can kind of tell they had an expiration date. And I can tell when they don't. But I will let go of them. I will back off of them. So that's like a little door slammy. But I'm going to explain that in another video, like what that looks like when it's healthy and it's good for you, even if it kind of hurts your feelings and you miss the person. Because I never slam doors. I just back off. And if it's not appropriate for me to engage with someone, right? That makes sense. But anyway, you can do it pretty painlessly. Honest to God. So there's that focus. This made me kind of investigate depression and stuff because that kind of came into why I'm not currently with my longtime friend. So we're going to talk about the breakdown of that in case you have that going on, how to let go of someone easily, as painless as possible. And then I'm going to do another video about the victim mentality. It's really important. Not that you would be doing it, but you might know someone, and because we're so invested in how other people feel, it's hard for us to let go when we watch someone hurt themselves, frankly, right? And I even remember trying to explain this to my INFP friend once, that watching her, this is big, watching her hurt herself with her thoughts was not any different than me watching her hurt her body with some kind of damaging instrument. Seriously. And that's how my head arranges things. Just this, some of this might be personal. It's like an INFJ, but like more intense. But words, and this is also my background as someone that studies metaphysics. Words are powerful. If you don't know that already, okay? Of course you do. You're an INFJ. You know that. Words hurt. And words also inspire, but that's not the point. So when I would watch her hurt herself, it was hard for me to not jump in, and that's what she wanted. She just wanted to, she called it quote unquote venting. And I had trouble with that. So that's part of actually the breakdown of our relationship. And I definitely want to talk about that. And then I wrote this down so I don't forget. If it's not on paper, it doesn't exist for me. It's like my thoughts are just balloons and they'll float away if I don't write it down. Maybe you can relate to that. So I wrote it down, and then the last thing I want to do is I'm going to show you something called a focus wheel. It's a law of attraction tool. It helps you think on purpose. okay? Because I can't help my friend, but I still have this energy of desperately wanting to reach people. So I'm smart enough to know, to understand about energy, that I don't actually have to force my friend and drag my friend with me. I don't need to change her. All I need to do is express who I am. And I deeply desire to spin doctor my friend, all her negative thoughts, self-defeating thoughts. But that's not best. That does not suit her. It does not suit me. So we get down to the core desire, which is for me to express who I am. And I always want to uplift people. I definitely believe that's part of who we are. I like to call us uplifters. So again, get back down to the basics. The basics is I desire to express this part of me. I want to teach this spin doctoring that changed my life. When you can take a thought, you can turn it around. So, but I don't have to chase my friend and make her come with me just because I desire her in my life in a more improved version. Funny, not funny. But anyway, so this is how I will get out those emotions. I will make a video of what I would really like for her and people like her to know. And then whoever's drawn to it will be drawn to it. And this method that I want to teach, it won't be an INFJ thing. It'll be something else, but you'll recognize it in the title. And then it's something you could teach others as an uplifter, It's just something I want to get out. Okay, but back to this. So this morning I was studying depression. Now, when I was younger, I tested as this. I tested as my friend. And now I grew up with these girls, okay? I've got my monthly coffee friend, INFJ. Love her. And then I've got this friend that I'm not currently engaged with, interacting with, INFP friend, but I still love her. And we were best friends, the three of us. And again, of course, I'm an INFJ who tested as an INFP when I was younger. But we were all best friends. Now that I look back and I know about personality, Myers Briggs and all that, I'm not surprised. I mean, we kind of hung out. We gravitated towards each other. In high school is like a battlefield for feeling types. And now we've learned we were in the minority. So I'm not really surprised. These were my girls, And now I'm, in my middle years, and still have this girl, my other INFJ. Currently not talking to this girl, but we'll get to that later. But the reason I found this article is because I was searching depression. I have what I do not call depression. It's like my quiet time. I admit that I don't feel energized to pull out a project, rip something apart, and put it back together better. I don't have like that life coursing through me at 0 degrees in Connecticut when the days are long and dark. It's like 4:00 in the afternoon and it's dark. And this is not uncommon to society. A lot of us, they call it the winter blues and all this other stuff. I was actually diagnosed many, many years ago with severe seasonal affective disorder. And that's going to be a video too, but it's not going to be an INFJ because I want to help the masses with that one, how I thought my way out of that one. So now I don't experience it as depression, but I do experience the void of like a life force surging through me that makes me feel like engaging in projects and I just feel alive, right? So I'll get that. I still understand. I still remember I was severely depressed when I was younger. I think it's because of all the feeling and the empathy. And then my life wasn't ideal either as a kid. So anyway, we're sensitive. Interestingly enough, neither were my other feeling friends. They didn't exactly have a cushy childhood either. But let's get to this thing here, to this chart, because I was thought it was done pretty well. I wanted to know, like, what makes me different than my friend that I'm not, talking to right now? And again, I used a test like this. This is why it was so hard for me to give up on her, because I remember being this way. And it's so clear to me how I turned my way of thinking and I became a more positive person. And I tested as an INFJ in my adulthood. And I always wondered, why did that happen? I'm not saying it's going to relate to all INFJs and INFPs, but I see myself how it turned from this to this. And when I went through this, I'm still agreeing. I still see how I used to think like my friend who was depressed and is depressed. And now I don't think like her. And this has been my focus that kind of helped drive her away, because, I kind of got my own head in there, like, oh, if you could just do this, and then that felt hurtful to her, of course. But it's hard. I'm a cheerleader. That's who I am, so the relationships are not working out right now because of that, but that's another video. So they're saying INFJs, we lead with perspective. INFPs leads with authenticity. And this is a common theme. With INFPs, I read articles and it says how they will look within themselves to pull out the answer. I've watched my friend do this. This is why she was my friend, my good friend, because we did understand each other and we could agree on most things. So I would watch her do exactly what these articles, I would later read when I was investigating our differences. Because I just gave myself this test this year and I gave her it. And I was like, oh yeah, well, this is why we're like we are. Back when we were getting along, I asked her to take this test. And so I'm saying, yeah, that's true, what they say for INFPs. For my friend, she's always checking in with herself. But guess what? When you check in with just yourself, you're very limited. She would say, oh, if it were me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well, you're negative. You're like, now this is not all INFPs. This is just, I'm just talking about my friend. Her whole life, she was always in this lower state, this lower, negative, bitchy, honestly, just complaining, even as a child. You're 13 years old. To me, you're a child. Just angry and, looking at the wrong side all the time. So if you're like that and you check in with yourself, you're not going to come up with any better answers. Okay? And I watched her do that. And I had to be quiet about it because if I interfered, she got mad at me. Now, they're saying we lead with perspectives. And the way that I am interpreting this is perspective versus authenticity to me means I'm taking everyone into account. And this is classic me. I don't know if it's classic INFJ. It's classic me. I am always running all the numbers of all the data of everyone that I think might have something to do with whatever I'm focusing on from their perspectives, and I'm pooling it together. Then I'm deciding how I feel. I am checking in with everyone, not just me, right? So I feel that this is more balanced, because if I'm taking in 12 perspectives versus one, right? Look how limiting that is, So it doesn't surprise me that she can't dig herself out of her own hole. All right, on to what they're saying here. INFJ unconsciously absorbs others' emotions in real time. Your pain in my heart. Yeah, sure. I'm always doing that. But that's more like, that's like a psychic ability to me. They say intuition. To me, psychic is the same. It's just deeper. You have intuition, and the psychic ability is just more. It's just intuition that's been honed. So, yeah, I believe that I'm really feeling other people's stuff. This happens all the time. All the time. I can't even watch a football game and look out into people's eyes and feel what they're feeling. So they're saying the INFP mirrors the subjective emotional experience of others, at times asynchronously. I'm sorry, I don't know that word. What I would be feeling if I was you can also help others mirror emotional experiences. Can also help others mirror. Yeah, this is how she talks to me. My friend would talk, and this is how she processes information through herself. So again, unless you got your shit together, you're processing at the level that you're at, coming up with answers at the level that you're at, and these are not serving her. The answers that she comes up with, I mean, I've listened to her talk enough to know that she's just not reading the world like I'm reading it. She fights it. She fights it. INFJs desires to be understood, whereas an INFP desires to be validated. Yeah, and this is a problem for my friend, okay? Really. And INFJ, I definitely admit, I always want to be understood. This is when I fight with my sensor thinky husband, is because I just want him to understand, and he doesn't want to. He just doesn't. He's in the conversation for different reasons. Get in, get out. Like, he's practical in discussion. And I'm going to do a video of a typical argument, because while the argument was happening, I was like, oh, this is classic. I know that other people are going to relate to this. He is just having this other experience within our argument, and I can see both. I can see my experience and I can see his experience as usual. And they don't match. And I just had to give up that fight. You're going to have to throw in the towel sometimes. But anyway, yeah, desire to be understood, desire to be validated. This is part of why she's not, how can I put it? It's a hindrance. Let's just put it that way. It's in her way. It's in her way of being more joyful. Because if you're always looking on the outside to validate your inside, you're going to be disappointed. This is part of like why I see, her issues, and it was difficult. Now, I'm talking intensely to you, but I did not talk this way to her. But she's so intuitive and psychic, she would pick up how I felt about everything anyway. Honestly. Because she would literally read my mind sometimes and say so. Even when we weren't arguing, just in regular life. So it's funny that way, that you can't even, neither of us can hide how we feel from the other. But it also made us close. So when you have that relationship with someone. So yeah, desiring to be validated, that's going to hold you back. Because you don't get what you want from the outside. You're left at this lower level. You have to learn to do it for yourself. And this is where my friend is stuck. And that's okay. Now, to be understood, yeah, that's a hindrance too. Personally, I'm starting to give it up. Like that argument that I had with my husband, I wanted him to understand my point of view, and it was like, I just gotta choose my battles. I'm not gonna get this one. The happier you are, the less you're gonna care about that, right? Plus, I like to say, go find another INFJ. They'll satisfy all your needs, and you won't bother your family anymore. Seriously, place an ad or something. Go get some of them. INFJs serve others to get own needs met. Serve others to get own needs met. Yeah, definitely. Whereas the INFP honors own experience to honor others. Honors own experience to honor others. Yeah. I guess she always wanted to go down at that bottom level. And that was just where she was at. That was how she was honoring her own experience, was wallowing. She called it venting. It's, from what I know about metaphysics, you don't be so willing to wallow in your pool of negative emotions. In my personal opinion, from what I've learned about energy science, You don't want to do that. And I would try to share that with her because that was part of my life. You know, going to school for that and stuff was part of my life. But she wasn't having it. And that's fine. You know, that's fine. I mean, not many people are willing to think about things in that way. So, yeah, I saw that as part of the recipe of her sadness. She, you know, it's called honor. And it makes it sound like it's something good, but when she felt bad and she just wanted to stay that way, man, it just got worse and worse and worse until she didn't want to leave the house, you know? So how could I get on board with that? Especially because I'm a cheerleader right here. Serves others to get my own needs met. That's cheerleading. It does make me feel good. Rah, 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 makes me feel good. And then they're saying the difference between us. We can be inspirational through insight. They can be insightful through inspiration. Now, this is very subtle. This is a little conundrum. Inspirational through insight. Yeah, I'll get my bursts when I was saying earlier about life, like coursing through me, you know, that energized feeling that I don't really get a lot of in the winter. It'll come in the spring. I'll have double in the spring. That does come through like little things I'm thinking about. And then, you know, and then the sun shines and then I'm like inspired to move, to act. Like even to do this video, I had to go kind of sit and get quiet and breathe. Because I had just read a voicemail that pissed me off. And I was like, damn, why did I open that? I was about to do my video and I get in like a certain place to share with others or I don't share. That's kind of my little personal rule. And now they're saying the INFPs can be insightful, but comes through inspiration. Yeah, I could get my friend all hopped up and then she would like come to better conclusions, come to good ideas and stuff. And I see this as a momentum, and that's why I want to teach you. It's called a focus wheel. It's like you deliberately choosing your thoughts and then watching the spin doctrine, watch it turn, and all of a sudden you feel better. But because you took time to deliberately think particular thoughts, uplifting thoughts, okay? So this is a tool. And like I said, maybe you're really good at this. Maybe you do it already. You don't need to even see the paper or the tools, but you can teach it to people. You INFJ, you can teach this to other people. You, my fellow uplifter. All right. Okay. So we're at like 22 minutes now, and that's probably enough for me. But again, so this was, you know, kind of the lead in to the breakdown of my friendship, because I was studying it. I was studying Myers Briggs, who's prone to depression. Well, of course, it's the feeling types, right? So I'm not really surprised. And then also because I used to test like this, and I used to be more negative, like my friend. And I was trying to influence her, but it kind of got away from me. And then she started, you know, to sense that and become upset. So, but anyway, I'll tell you how that went down, like how you can let go of someone, and it's temporary as far as I'm concerned, but I did kind of lay out my boundaries. So how you can let go of someone without, you know, being too dramatic and take the high road, right? Very important. I did a door slam video already, and the main focus was, hey, listen, you're empathetic, so do realize that you can get more hurt than some of these people if you do door slam them. And I'm thinking of the thinker sensor types now. You know, they're not going to be as hurt as you are if you did door slam them. So that was kind of about that video. But now we can get into a little more personal one, like how do I let go of people that are maybe draining me or whatever. Okay, and then I'm going to do another video, and the theme is going to be about being a victim. This is huge. It might help you have more compassion in your life if you deal with a quote unquote victim. I'll kind of show you, it's like the world to me is full of them. 50-50. I'm saying you've got two kinds of people. You have people that think they're victims and people that think they're not. They don't even think in those terms. But they're light years apart. And then we're going to do that focus wheel video where I'm actually showing you the skill of flipping. If you get in a funk, you get in one of these depressions or whatever you want to call it. I call mine apathy. And then when I stop questioning it, it just turns into, hey, I'm just not inspired to do anything right now, and that's fine. Because how you look at things really matter, because that actually is how you create. And that's my metaphysics, which is the study of the nature of reality. All that there really is experience. That's it. The rest is all an illusion, but I don't want to get too crazy on you. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. This was a really long time of Beth yammering, and then we'll get to those other things. And I still owe you videos on my husband thing. Like it's not in your head. They really are totally wired different if you're married to an opposite, and that's fine. Well, you can appreciate the balance that you give each other. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.